One of the odd things about the military is not everybody should be defending our country. That is absolute truth. That they're letting some freaks slip through the cracks, man, right? And I know this because when I was in Navy boot camp, I went to Navy boot camp. I was there with 60 guys, 60. 29 of them couldn't swim. I couldn't swim. Like, you just joined the Navy. If you look at the brochure, there's water.
My name is PJ Walsh. I'm from New York. I'm a professional comedian. I was in the United States Navy from 1990 to 1995.
I remember the day I signed up, my recruiter comes up to me. He's like, "Congratulations, Private Wood." No way. You guys are going to call me that.
I'm Justin Wood. I'm a Army veteran living in California pursuing stand-up comedy.
Comedically, I've been in this game, I played arenas, I lived on a tour bus for years, and I've been taking trips overseas since I think about 2000.
Holy cow, like when I was over there, this is one of the guys that brought morale to me.
And then we just kind of developed a friendship, and he's got a good attitude, and we could bust each other's balls, let's tell jokes, have fun.
And now it's crazy that here I am 6 years into it, like still a young pup in this game. And now my mentor is one of the guys that I saw over there.
All right, guys. We have two more performers left on the show this very evening, and I have a very interesting story to tell you guys. So PJ Walsh is our headliner tonight, and yeah, he is a former serviceman of our armed forces. Once he got out, he started performing comedy, and then he started going overseas to perform for our troops. And while he was overseas performing, he inspired a particular individual to enter into stand-up comedy. And now, on this very evening, the both of them are going to perform for you guys right now, okay? Yeah. Are you guys ready? Your next comedian this very evening, guys, has opened for Louis Anderson in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the very funny Justin Wood.
I'm from a little itty-bitty town called Unionville Center, Ohio. Population 202. Where I come from, there's only one stoplight.
Oh, wait! Oh, wait! Oh, go Bucks! Go Bucks!
So, a little bit about me. I did serve in the United States Army from 2003 to 2009. So what that makes me now is a 34-year-old college freshman.
I originally planned on going to college after I graduated in 2000, and it was 3 years later, and I noticed that I hadn't really been doing anything.
No, it's funny. Like, everyone has, like, all these crazy stories about why they joined the military. Like, you hear people say, man, like, once I saw those planes hit the buildings, I had to go get some. Not in my America. I'm coming for them. Like, what about you, Justin? Why'd you join? I was like, man, this one time in 2003, Britney Spears graced the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. And inside that magazine was a coupon from the United States Marine Corps that said, send this back and we will send you a free compass. Fuck yes. I did not have a compass at the time.
My grandfather was a World War II veteran. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. I got uncles who are both Vietnam veterans, so I have a lot of strong military genes.
So I sent it back, and I get a phone call from a recruiter. He's like, hey, is this Justin Wood? I was like, it is. He's like, this is Gunny Sergeant Hildebrand, United States Marine Corps. I need you to come to my office tomorrow, son. We're going to make you a Marine. Fuck yeah. McDonald's wasn't hiring that week. I didn't have shit to do. So
my best friend at the time was still a Marine as well. So I saw him, how much it had changed him. So I thought that, I'm not doing anything else. I mean, I might as well give this military thing a shot.
So I went, and he wasn't even there. And then the Army recruiter's across the hallway. He's like, hey, son, step on in here. Let me talk to you. So I go into his office, and he's like, son, why are you thinking about the United States Marine Corps? And I was like, man, they got this compass. He's like, well, let me ask you this. What do you think about this United States Army t-shirt? Fuck yeah. Now you're talking my language. 2 weeks later, I was off to boot camp with my T-shirt.
Probably not the most heroic reason for joining, but it's why I joined. You know, where I come from, you know, there's a lot of jocks, farmers, and I couldn't find, you know, which group I fit in the most with, because here I am in high school, just this class clown that I didn't understand at the time that, hey, you might want to think about comedy or anything like that, because that, you know, you just don't do that for where I'm from.
I did a 15-month tour in Iraq, and I was a human resource specialist, which is exactly as badass as it sounds. A human resource specialist.
Even on my deployment, you know, I was just doing postal work. I was working in mail rooms, and then when we went up to Iraq, I was a glorified babysitter. I sat around for 9 hours a day and watched Iraqi civilians dig trenches around our mailroom because it was rain season and people's mail was getting wet.
Sweet home Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. Lord, I'm coming home to you. Lord, I'm coming home to you.
But because of my 15-month tour, I am now considered a combat veteran, a veteran of a foreign war, which means every Saturday I can go to my local VFW and get all the biscuits and gravy I can eat for $5. 6 years well worth it.
In 2005, I was at Camp Arif John, Kuwait. We were there before we went up to Camp Liberty, Iraq, at the Baghdad International Airport. And one of the best parts of deployment are the USO tours and the Armed Force Entertainment tours that come through. And I'd already had like this strong passion for stand-up comedy, because like in my family, like my mom and sister never wanted to watch sports, but that's all that me, my brother, and dad wanted to watch was sports. So our family could always compromise on stand-up comedy. So when I found out that there are comedians coming to Camp Arif John, of course I went and watched it. And PJ was actually one of the comics that I went and saw when he came over with a tour group called Comics on Duty.
I love comedy. I like performing. I live in Los Angeles now, and so we're gonna have a little discussion about this guy who stalks me named Justin, some feller.
I was in there the other Saturday, and I had a Vietnam veteran come in and talk to me. And he was like, yeah, this one time in Nam, I was in the middle of a firefight, and my weapon jammed up on me. I had to switch over to my knife. I don't know how I made it out of there alive, but I did. Airborne. It's like, holy shit, man. I was like, I know how you feel. This one time in Iraq, I was in the middle of a Microsoft Office document. And my printer jammed up on me. I had to switch over to wireless.
When I moved out here, my PJ and I have a mutual friend, and this one night, you know, I'm still like almost brand new to stand-up comedy.
I met Justin Wood, and I actually had forgotten. I eavesdropped on his interview, and I was wondering, like, where did we meet? Because you meet so many people that you just kind of get in sync with right away, and there's no like monumentous like meeting.
My buddy's like, hey, this guy named PJ Walsh, he's a comic. You should come with us tonight to, we're going on this night hike.
And then he brought up, and I heard him say that we met on a night hike. And I was like, oh yeah, that's, it's amazing, the veteran community.
I clicked and clicked and clicked and clicked. I couldn't save the document. Chairborne.
At the time, I'm like I said, I'm brand new to comedy still. And here I am, like, hiking with this guy that's like, yeah, I have opened for the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, Larry the Cable Guy, like, saying all this stuff. And, like, me, at the time, I'm, like, clenching my fist because I just want to ask so many questions and, like, play fanboy.
Like, Mark's like, oh, there'll be some comics there or whatever. And Justin was on that hike, and just this quiet dude.
I'm trying to do the cool thing and act like, oh, yeah, I can totally relate. I do these open mics.
You guys heard of this whole epidemic called stolen valor? You guys heard of this? It's where people are dressing up in military uniforms and like going out to stores and like trying to get discounts, and they're getting called out on it. being a smart ass, I was like, I think it'd be funny to make a fake Stolen Valor video and be over the top so people will realize that it's fake and, you know, it's kind of funny.
Hey, did you serve? Where'd you get that uniform from?
Let me read you a couple comments before I get out of here. The first comment says, as a deployed unit in Afghanistan, we cannot thank you enough for the laughs.
Hey, buddy, where'd you get that uniform? Hey, where's your divorce papers?
The next comment's like, this is great. Obviously, the guy's making fun of the people who actually try and steal Valor. Well done.
Where's your military ID? Where's your star card?
Then the Right to Bear Arms Facebook group got a hold of it.
Hey, listen to me when I talk to you. I really served. Listen, give me that ball. Give me that ball.
But my favorite comment of all was, leave the guy alone. Obviously, he's mentally retarded, and maybe he wanted to serve, but because of his conditions, he couldn't. Shame on you, you coward.
So I actually run a show called Comics That Care, and it's a show I do for Los Angeles homeless veterans. I do that once a month where I'll bring comics in. And that night, I asked PJ if he wanted to come do my show. I also, like, deep down wanted to impress this guy. I was like, I want to show him that, you know, I'm a funny comic too, and, I'm not just a new guy. Like, maybe, I want this guy to be my friend,
You realize, oh, comedy could be bigger than just me getting laughs. Justin already had that. He had that out of the gate. He had a bigger vision. He wanted to incorporate comedy into helping, and that's something that I'm all about.
The first show he came to was the first time that I ever, because I work for Volunteers of America, which we work with homeless veterans. So my crowd was also my clients. So I didn't realize how awkward it was going to be telling jokes in front of the same guys that I'm like having to discipline sometimes.
And he bombed.
And I bombed so hard that day.
And then he came up and talked to me. He's like, I work with these guys. And I was like, they're never going to laugh at you if you work with them. Don't worry about that or whatever. And then, a couple months later, we did another show at here at Flappers. And it was for all veterans. And they're all homeless veterans. I've never told this to Justin, but I paid all the veterans $20 each to laugh at him. It was the first time he killed. It cost me $2,000.
And finally, I had a good set in front of PJ's. I was like, finally, So I felt like a little more comfortable around and letting them know that, hey, this guy can be funny sometimes. 1 out of 5, not bad.
All right, you guys ready for your headliner this evening? All right, it'll have to do, I guess. All right, guys, you've seen him on American Ninja Warrior. He performs overseas for the troops all the time. What doesn't he do, really? Saving the world, saving babies from burning buildings. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the very funny PJ Walsh.
Thank you guys for sticking around. Here for my buddy Justin, true hero, good dude, right? Everybody who was up here, very good. I myself was in the military. I was in the Navy. I'm straight. I was in the Navy. Got to put that out before the Army guys are like, we know what you like, freckle boy. All right. All right. But Justin, he pushed papers, all that stuff. Me, I was in the rough stuff. I was with the Marines in the First Gulf for 6 months on the front lines, trained as a dental technician.
So when I was in the Navy, at the end, my job was I was a primary dental technician for the first and second families in the White House and at Camp David, so all the troops at Camp David, which is just an uppity way of saying I was a dental assistant.
And I was in charge of the president's mouth during the Clinton administration. Yeah, that's when people back up. They're like, all right, dude, how many shots did you have to get?
My parents immigrated here from Ireland, and I'm providing health care. I might very well be the youngest person to provide health care for the president. I don't know if that's still the case, but at the time it was. I was 21, and here's the president of the United States in a chair, no Secret Service around. My doctor would leave, and there'd be like sharp instruments and scalpels, and I'd be like, what?
I'll tell you my favorite story, all right? And this one was one of those slow bombs that you didn't realize. I didn't realize how funny it was till like 4 years later, okay? So there's a tiny little dental clinic in the basement of the White House.
Man, if you showed me a picture of the moon and a picture of the White House when I was in high school, they were the same distance away from me. I wasn't getting near any of these. And here I am, like, just walking into the White House, and that gave me that the military gave me that thing of like, you work hard enough, you don't know where you're gonna end up. And I feel comedy is the same way.
So President Clinton's in a chair, and the phone rings, and I pick up the phone, and I hear, "Please hold for Colin Powell." I'm like, "Oh, awesome, Colin Powell." Right? I hear, "This is Colin Powell. Can I speak with the president?" And I'm like, "The president's mouth is full right now." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll call her." I didn't realize how. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realize how funny that was until like 4 years later, and I'm like laying in bed, just finished the news, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!"
The biggest lesson being around PJ is just humbleness. And I mean, it's a cutthroat business. I mean, just today, I heard that, you know, I was up for a really exciting opportunity, and I just found out as me and PJ were sitting out there that I didn't get it. And, you know, it's one of those things where now it's like, okay, put it behind you. Now you got a project sitting in front of you tonight that you got to get ready for. Like, you can't sit around.
I'm 43 now. I'm still waiting to pop. I've had great moments, you know, but it happens when it happens. The only way that it doesn't happen is if you get out of line, if you stop doing the work. So I try to pass that on to guys like Justin.
And in 2009, it was the first time I went to go entertain. I got to go on the USS Nimitz on Christmas Day in the Persian Gulf. I got like tail hooked onto the ship. It's like when they hook you up there. And so on Christmas Day, I'm entertaining the troops. And it was like 19 years from when I was actually a troop on I was in the Persian Gulf on USS Nashville on Christmas. So it was like meant a lot, right? So, but I've done a bunch of trips overseas before, and this never happened to me. I got a call, or before I left, I got a call from the U.S. government, and that's how they introduced themselves. Like, "Mr. Walsh, this is the U.S. government." I'm like, "You have a number?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Can I call you back?" They're like, "Nope." I'm like, "Son of a bitch."
Travels, that's the exciting part where he's at right now, is now you gotta go out for years and hit that road and all these crazy, amazing things. And then when you mix alcohol in there, it gets better. Like, it just gets crazier. That's why I don't drink anymore. I can't handle that part anymore. And it just becomes this beautiful thing of pursuing a light that's in you. And to chase that thing that made you go, "Oh man, this is awesome."
Recently, I have started getting a little bit busier. I'm getting ready to actually go to Ohio for a few shows, get to go home. That's always a fun experience to go home and play to friends and family back home, to let them see, like, to be proud of the hometown kid. I actually got picked up in a comedy troupe called the GIs of Comedy. I've been doing shows with them lately. I just performed at the GI Film Festival in San Diego.
You know, I think I would be bored out of my mind if I wasn't still trying to push, if I wasn't trying to do something else. And most of the stuff I do now is veteran oriented. Most of the stuff I do now is physical. You know, I did American Ninja Warrior because it was a military edition. And I knew I could thank the veterans at the end of it, no matter how bad I did. I didn't do that bad, but at the end I could look in the camera and go, "Thank you, everybody out there, men and women, the families, for what you did." You know, that's always been kind of the through line of my life, is just being able to thank them. So why wouldn't I help Justin? I think you should get a military tattoo, though. All those tattoos, not one, you know, Army one.
Great stuff, man.
Great job, dude.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy I'm your friend. I love what you're doing with all the veterans, and I'm happy that I got to somehow influence you, man. That's just
It means a lot.
awesome.
Great stuff. Thank you, All Warrior Network, for coming out tonight and capturing a little bit of our journey. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much.
And I just want to say, this is the veteran community, all right? Find somebody. That's what we do. When one of us is down, the others pull each other up, and together we can do that. And again, thank you to every single man and woman and the family members
Absolutely.
who support them. You guys are the best, so thanks.